just in case you noticed it, all he said was our point guards. He named RJ by name. He named Obi by name. He named Kevin Knox by name. He named Quickley by name. The two players he did not name, by name are Frank Nitti and DSJ. So if I was those two, I'd be a little nervous right now. He's referring to you as those point guards. Hey, what's going on? I'm Keith here at Sports Vibes TV, and the New York Knicks have opened up their training camp. Now, Tuesday was the first time the team was together to officially start the 2021 season, and Tibbs had a press conference in which he was asked a few questions. Now, there were three questions that I kind of liked listening Tibbs give his answer to, and in this video, I kind of want to just listen to them along with you and kind of give my reaction and let you know how I feel, because a lot of the things he was saying is some of the things that I was, echoing as well. So let's go right into the actual video. Also, I'm going to leave the video, the link down below. I'm only going to show three questions, but it was a much longer 20-minute video. You can head over there to check it out. All right. So let's jump right into the video. All right, so this is the first question.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for doing this. So, there was obviously some more polished and veteran players out there in the trade market and free agency. Can you just kind of tell us the strategy here with building this roster and why? I mean, you don't have a player that's over 30 years old. I mean, can you just take us through the strategy here and why what you thought building this roster?
Well, there's obviously a couple of different roads you can go down, and I think if you study it and you look at how teams are built, and I went through this in Minnesota, and obviously the draft is critical, free agency is critical, player development is critical, and trade opportunities are critical. And when you look back at Philadelphia and what they went through, and obviously they went through a lot of losing, and they were able to get Embiid and Simmons, but then when they added their veterans, that's when they took off. So I think you look at all four avenues and you try to build your plan that way. I thought we had a well thought out plan, and we took advantage of some things that we thought would be good for us, but we wanted to be disciplined, and we were. So there'll be other opportunities as we go forward, but we concentrate on the players that we have here, concentrate on our improvement, and hopefully good things will happen.
So as a Knicks fan, that's exactly what you want to hear. Now, in my videos, I've been saying repeatedly, this is about chess, not checkers. And he compared it kind of to the Philadelphia 76ers, which I don't necessarily want to compare the Knicks to the 76ers. We don't necessarily have to, quote unquote, trust the process. We don't have to keep tanking in order to get better. But what we do have to do is continue to build a foundation that veterans can look at and say, okay, that's something I want to be a part of. And hearing Tibbs say this as a Knicks fan is just phenomenal. On the outside looking in, all we could do is assume. And right now at this press conference, Tibbs is pretty much just echoing what a lot of us fans, were thinking ourselves. I know a lot of you guys were saying in the comments, build it and they will come. And I think Tibbs is pretty much saying the exact same thing. So as a Knicks fan, you can't feel bad about what he's saying. And it's just showing exactly the steps the Knicks are going to try to take in order to build a very good contender moving forward. So let's skip along to the next question that I wanted you guys to listen to.
Rebecca Harlow from
Coach, looking forward to working with you again. Welcome to New York.
Thank you, Rebecca.
You're talking about building a culture and young players and all of that. You've obviously proven to be very effective with development. You've had a lot of success with very young players when you look at Jimmy Butler, Derrick Rose, etc. What excites you about what you are seeing from the young players on this roster, and what also will be your biggest challenge in terms of developing them to the point that you want to see this season.
Yeah, and it's the overall development into building a winning program and organization. So it's not just the individual player development, but it's the team development. And I think we have some guys that have a big upside. And obviously, when you look at an RJ and you look at a guy like Obi and Immanuel Quickley, and Kevin Knox, and our point guards, we have several players there.
Just in case you noticed it, all he said was our point guards. He named RJ by name. He named Obi by name. He named Kevin Knox by name. He named Quickley by name. The two players he did not name, by name are Frank Nitti and DSJ. So if I was those two, I'd be a little nervous right now. He's referring to you as those point guards. That doesn't look too good.
There. So, and I like that there's competition. So nothing will be given to anyone. You're going to have to earn your minutes. And those decisions on rotation will be based on performance and what gives the team the best chance of winning. A player's not just going to get minutes to get minutes. You have to impact winning. You have to put the team first. There has to be sacrifices made. And that's what we're going to strive towards each and every day. I think we have a very strong staff. The focus will be on teaching and work. So we know there's a lot of work to be done. When you look at, where we stood last year, there's a lot of ground to be made up. And when you look at, the rosters of the teams that we're competing against, the challenge will be how together can we be? The degree of how smart and how hard and how together is going to be critical for us.
Next question.
Now, Tibbs is saying all the right things. Now, I get a little bit nervous when he says, yes, I understand the players are going to have to earn their minutes, but if the players are neck and neck and they're equal, you better start the young player. If it's they're evenly affecting winning, you got to start the young player, Tibbs. That's the only thing I got to say. Outside of that, he's spot on with everything he has to say. And what I like to hear is the fact that he says everybody has to come in and work. Everybody has to come in and earn their minutes. So if DSJ, we give him his minutes, we give him his time at practice, and he's not necessarily performing up to par, then I'm not going to see him as our starting point guard, which I expected in one of my recent videos that I'll link up above for you. And the fact that he's not mentioning DSJ or Frank by name, I'd be worried if I were them right now. But outside of some of the things he's been saying when it comes to, everybody earning minutes, which once again, I'm a fan of. I like to hear that. I even mentioned it in a lot of my videos. But, they got a lot of this Kentucky bias going on. So I don't want you to say because Obi and Randall are both performing at the same clip that you're going to just start Randall just because. If they're even, start Obi. We already know what Randall is. He's going to take the ball, do a little spin move, and turn it over. We good with that. I'm trying to see some alley-oops to Obi. Damn, the Garden ain't going to be rocking. That's going to suck. There's no fans in there. Next season. So let's move on to the next question. All right, so this one is directly to us fans. Let's listen to what Tibbs has to say.
Hey, Coach, it's Bruce Beck. Sorry about that. Hey, Tom, you talked a lot about development, about improvement, about progress, about teaching. How do you preach patience to the fans while you're going through this process?
Well, I think the one thing about the New York fans, they're knowledgeable about the game. And I think if they see a team that's out there working as hard as they can and playing smart and playing together, that will be recognized. And if we're taking care of all the little things, I think the big things will end up taking care of themselves. And as long as we're improving each and every day, good things are coming.
Our next question comes from Mike.
So as a Knicks fan, that's exactly what we want to hear. We want to see a team that's out there working their butt off and trying to get better every single game. The problem with a lot of the previous regimes we weren't necessarily seeing that progress throughout the season. It was like the team just couldn't gel, and that just carried throughout the entire season. We couldn't live, there was no progression to really excite the fan base. Yeah, the Garden's packed, but the Garden's packed by a bunch of tourists. When it comes to like diehard Knicks fans, we were looking at the product on the court, and we never understood what the path was. But if you, as the new Knicks regime, decide you're going to put together a team that's going to actually, show us, all right, this is the plan, this is what we're trying to do moving forward, and this is what we want you guys to support, this is the path we want you guys to support, then as Knicks fans, yes, as Knicks fans, we are very passionate, but for the most part, Knicks fans are reasonable. I wouldn't say Knicks fans are unreasonable compared to, other fan bases in either the same sport, basketball, or in other sports. So if you, as the Knicks organization, put a respectable product on the court and you stop taking away assets to build for the future, you're not going to see a rabid fan base. Everybody's just going to be reasonable. We're going to understand things take time, and we're going to allow you guys to take that time and do what you have to do. But you guys are going to have to hold up your end of the bargain and put out a team that we can get behind and say, okay, these are our stars of the future. These are our role players of the future. And let's plot out the steps we need to take in order to win a championship. So you guys, let me know what you think about Tibbs' comments down in the comments. Once again, I'm Keith, host of Sports Vibes TV, and I'm out.